This is Tatooine Sons.
This is the episode that people say we're scared of.
I'm not scared of anything.
I don't know why they say that, because it's not like we've been having this argument for the past 8 years.
We were making the argument before we knew we were making the argument.
Yeah.
We were like 10 episodes into this podcast, just glowing. The word, I guess, that they use now is glazing The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
you guys
I
are
guess.
Glazing has a negative connotation to it.
Well, that's what we're accused of.
Yes. So from their perspective, we glaze The Last Jedi
For no reason.
unfairly.
Yeah.
We were doing that for 10 episodes before we knew anybody didn't like
Yeah.
The Last Jedi. We thought everybody loved it as much as we did.
Yeah.
And then suddenly Twitter started telling us that we were idiots.
And we've been hearing it ever since.
So for 8.5 years, we have been defending this. Now, the only difference is there came a point in time, specifically on Twitter, which is now X, where we just stopped arguing The Last Jedi. Because there was no point in arguing
It's
anymore.
like that
Tell the
meme-
story about what you experienced just this afternoon before you came here. You've got a guy that's staying with you this summer while he's on college break.
Yeah, Kent's staying with me over the summer so he can keep working his job. And I'm sitting there eating lunch. I'm working from home, and he comes and sits down at the table, and we just start chatting. And I don't remember how we got on the topic, but we got on the topic of the sequel trilogy and The Last Jedi or whatever, right? And he's like, my main complaint with that movie is I don't like how they portrayed Luke. You know, he was like, oh, you know, he was able to turn his father to the light side, and then his nephew has a bad dream, and he's like, oh, gotta kill him, you know. And I just kind of, I'm sitting there, and I just look at him, and I'm like, I have a rebuttal, but I've been making the rebuttal for the past 8 years, and I'm just too tired to do it right now. Then he was like, well, tell me what it is, and I explained it, which we'll get to in a minute. But it's
That's the first topic.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is? Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and say
No,
it.
but tell the
Never
rest
mind,
of the
I
story.
won't.
No, say it.
No, tell the rest of the story.
That's what I'm saying, right? I'll go ahead and continue
Yes.
and say what I said. I looked at him, I'm like, Luke was at the top of his game at this point. He thought he was all that in a bag of chips. And he saw something that could jeopardize his fame or his success that he had got on. I mean, he was the Jedi. He
Jeopardize his character.
Yeah, I mean, he
Who he
brought
was.
balance to the Force, and then he sees a potential threat to that and a failure as well in, well, this is one of my pupils, this is my nephew, why is he doing this? This is going to ruin everything I've built up to this moment. Then he realizes once it's too late what he was about to do, and then everything goes to crap, and he realized this ain't it. I can't keep doing this. And so he exiles himself. And Kent was like, okay, I mean, I can see it. And he's like, I do want to watch it. It's been a while. He's like, he
There we
said,
go.
I'm
There
pretty
we go.
sure he said at one point, and I could be wrong, but I think he said like the last time he's seen it was close to when it came out.
Which is a lot of people.
I know.
Somebody messaged or tweeted out to us this weekend.
X'd out.
Posted on X, which is so much easier
Just
with
tweet.
I don't know.
Just say tweet.
Did you hear that today that Disney actually released information that they almost were like days away from purchasing Twitter before Elon did it?
Really?
And they were going to turn it into a streaming platform for them and all this other stuff with this. Anyway, like a social media platform for Disney with it. Instead, it became a social media platform for Donald Trump. But we'll go down a totally different direction with that. With it. They tweeted to us and they said, getting ready to watch The Last Jedi for the first time since opening week.
That's crazy.
And I said, I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
They watched it and they replied back and they said, that wasn't nearly as bad as everybody says it is. It was a lot better. We're going to talk about that at the end
But I'm
of the episode. We're going to come back to that at the end. Let's talk about Luke Skywalker. The big thing is that it's like Luke is, it was a flippin' hashtag when this movie came out. Hashtag not my Luke. Skywalker. The big thing was that Rian Johnson deconstructed Luke, that it was a character assassination against Luke Skywalker, that the Luke Skywalker at the end of the Return of the Jedi rejected the dark side, came back from it, saved his own father. He would never resort to leaving his family, turning his back on the Republic, deserting the Republic, deserting Leia, deserting Han. He would never try to kill Ben Solo, no matter what. And for everything that Rian Johnson did in this was built on the foundation of Mark Hamill, which we talked about in the last couple episodes ago. I fundamentally disagree with this version of Luke Skywalker.
Mm.
I'll start with you, Nate, since you already had a chance to kind of speak into this. Nathan, do you fundamentally disagree with this version of Luke Skywalker? Why or why not?
I don't. This is 25 or so years post
30 years
30
post the Return of the Jedi.
It's a long time, and a lot has happened, and that's okay. Things do happen. People grow up, people change, they age, and honestly, we see what happened with Luke, with Ben, and all of that, and there's no doubt that he's going to change. I don't disagree with that. I don't see an issue. Were people angry about how Anakin Skywalker was in the prequels because he wasn't Darth Vader? Like,
but they came into the prequels. I'm going to play devil's advocate as much as possible on this. I'm the one that's on X. I'm the one that's getting pummeled with the question.
We should do a Q&A episode.
I mean, I have been called a retard more on X than anywhere else in my life.
Don't you love internet discourse?
It's like, and so literally, if you're following us on X and you call me or my sons, especially if you call my sons a retard, you will get blocked. Okay. That's the end of the conversation for you. But anyway, like somebody was complaining a couple episodes ago about you with the porg.
Oh, okay.
And there's like, who's the retard petting the porg the whole time? I'm like, oh, I lost it. I'm like, it's the retard that named the porg in the millennium. And I wanted to be like, he's not a retard and he's freaking going to get a 4.0 in college and you're a jackass. I was losing my mind on that. And I just blocked him instead. Mm-hmm. And then I know, because I get the comments, even though you're blocked, the guy was blocked. People were lighting the dude up.
Good.
And they were like, oh, you have no idea what you just did. Like that. But anyway, I'll play the devil's advocate. Luke Skywalker was the argument against Luke Skywalker in this. And I'm going to push back a little bit on yours as well on this.
Okay.
It's not hubris. It's not arrogance. It's absolute fear.
How so?
Okay. So he has become increasingly stronger in the Force.
Not as strong as Ezra, but yeah, we're good.
And that's the last
Careful,
episode.
you're going to piss even
that's
more
the
people.
last
I have
episode.
A story I'm going to bring up on this.
We're dealing with that, okay? He's been getting increasingly stronger in the Force. He's been studying the Jedi texts. He's been learning more about the Force, right? He's a freaking novice in the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what anybody wants to say, he is a rookie.
And Mary Sue.
He is a Mary Sue.
Genuinely.
Careful.
More than Rey.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would. Okay. So anyway, he's less trained in the Force than a lot than people act like he is. Let's go there. Is that fair?
I think that is fair.
Is that fair? Okay. And he throws down his lightsaber and all this other stuff. Now he's gotten to the point where he's been studying the text. He's been doing all this stuff. He's been gallivanting around the galaxy with Lor San Tekka, finding Sith or Jedi artifacts and learning about the Force and all of this kind of stuff. Now he's reached the ability to truly probe the mind of Ben Solo. And he's been, if you read the comics, if you read the books, Ben has been showing more and more signs of this propensity towards the dark.
Mhm.
So something is happening in this moment at the Jedi Academy that's causing Luke to say, I need to know what's going on. I don't think it's from a nefarious perspective. I
No.
think it's like, I need to know how to help my nephew.
Yeah, I agree.
I love Ben. I need to reach into there. I need to go into his mind, kind of like what Ben does to Rey, tries to do with Rey, what he does with Poe,
Mhm.
all of this stuff in The Force Awakens. So he reaches into the mind of Ben Skywalker, and what he sees terrifies him as much, if not more, than what he hears from Darth Vader in The Return of the Jedi when Vader says that he's going to turn Leia,
Mhm.
when he finds out that Luke has a twin sister,
Mhm.
right? And in that moment, the reaction is the same reaction
Mm.
as he has in The Return of the Jedi. It's fear.
Yeah.
It's, I have to defend. I have to defend Leia. I have to defend Han. I see in you so much darkness and evil, and you're going to do so many. He probably sees the death of Han Solo
Yeah.
in that moment.
Mm.
And he's like, and that's what causes him to ignite the lightsaber.
And then
But then he pulls back. Okay. But that's what's going on with Luke. It's not hubris in that moment. I think hubris led to that moment,
Mhm.
but I don't see him. That's why he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to defend myself, my reputation, or anything
That's fair.
like that. Do you understand where
Yeah,
I'm coming from?
when you
Yeah, I
compare
get
it to
that.
what is seen in Return of the Jedi, I'd see the parallels, and that makes more sense. But I do think that Luke was pretty full of himself.
Oh,
at this point.
absolutely.
I mean, he
That's
was
the
on
way
top
he's
of his-
portrayed in The Mandalorian in the Book of Boba Fett.
It's
Yeah.
even how he was in Return of the Jedi
Yeah.
towards the beginning. I mean, he's doing flips and kicks, and
Hey, look
And,
what I can do.
he's waltzing into Jabba's palace single-handedly. I mean, he's got people set up. Obviously, there was a plan, but face-to-face confrontation with Jabba.
It was a
like
goofy plan.
Huh?
It was a goofy plan. The Return of that
It
plan in
was-
the beginning of Return of the
I
Jedi
wouldn't
was
say
goofy.
goofy. But it was. I don't know if I can use that word. on the podcast.
Ill-conceived.
Ill-conceived. That's not even the word either. But anyway, let's move on.
It was silly.
So, what
Gutsy. That's
do you understand? Ballsy. Is
That's
that
what I
you
was
were gonna
going to say.
Yeah, okay, I'll say it. I'll say it. Do you understand the frustrations with Luke Skywalker
absolutely.
by Last Jedi fans? Help me
Absolutely.
understand that. Yeah, I see. Okay, I want to hear why you say that, because I look at his face and I see somebody that's like, not at all. So I'm not going to let you answer that. I'm going to let you say you understand it. Help me. Why do you understand
I
it?
mean, you go into this movie and you're expecting Luke Skywalker, the great hero, who's doing flips off of sail barges and stuff like that, a beacon of light and hope and goodness, not some grumpy old hermit that we get in The Last Jedi. I mean, and it's like I've said, this is something I've had to work on lately, is going into things with expectations. Even most recently, I was not a fan of Disclosure Day because I expected more alien stuff, right? And so that let me down, right? If you're going into this movie and you're expecting to see the Luke that you saw, when did Return of the Jedi come out?
1983.
Yeah, so 30 years ago,
1983.
nearly 30
You're old.
years prior.
34 years before The Last Jedi.
Right. And you're expecting to see your favorite character back again 3 decades later, and you don't get that, that's going to sting.
Well, that goes back to also kind of what we talked about in the previous episode with the theories.
Yes.
Right? Those theories, that 2 years created theories in everybody's mind about what they were and then they, like we talked about, they dissected every frame of The Force Awakens and then doubled down on those theories. And I was going through the edit when I was getting that episode ready, and you were talking about the Mission Impossible 7 and 8, Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning, right? And I sat there watching that and thinking, and for those of you that are watching this, we had a theory I'm 100% convinced of, that Grace is Ethan's daughter. right?
Watch it with that in mind.
Watch it with that in
everything
mind.
makes sense.
The moment that you know that it happens is when he comes back to like France or wherever she's at.
Yes.
To find to break her away from the police. There's a different perspective, and the rest of the episode, the rest of the movie, it's his daughter, and it plays out again in Final Reckoning, even if you don't really like the movie, Sam, because you came into it with expectations.
And you were tired.
And you were
we
tired
were on a
and grumpy.
Universal trip.
No, I just wasn't a fan.
Okay,
No,
anyway.
you can be quiet. It's okay.
I get it. I was editing this episode, the previous episode of our podcast, and I was watching it. I'm like, I would have probably been pretty pissed off if they came back and made her his love interest.
Oh, yeah.
If they would have made her the love interest, it's not. They kiss, but it's not a kiss. It's CPR in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
And they make it look like a kiss in the trailers, and it's not, right? If that
we're talking about Star Wars.
But you understand.
You know,
but the
there's
point,
sibling kissing and
yeah,
stuff all the
exactly.
time,
We don't
too.
care.
It's-
You know. Anyway, I would have been pissed.
Oh, I was on board with the Grace theory. So if they had ended up going a different route, yeah, it would have taken me out of the story.
And I
would
think
still
that's
in my
what
head-
happened with a lot of people with Luke.
I get it. I'm worried about how they're going to portray Doctor Doom in the Doomsday movie.
I was going to bring that up.
I mean, we don't know if it's some version of Tony Stark, but why would you cast Robert Downey Jr. otherwise? Which, again, is getting into theories and headcanon that may not prove true. And now, this is a lot of people who share this thought, so that would be crazy. But, you know, if they don't portray it right, it's gonna suck me out of the story because that's my favorite character, and this is a interesting take on it. And if it's a stick of dynamite.
I
That's
got a
waiting
lot
to
of
go off.
Got a lot of things coming on in here. There's a lot of people that look at the Dune series and see Paul Atreides as a hero.
Well, we're genre spanning. We're hitting.
No, this is
every-
okay. This is okay. This allows us to have a conversation that I think people can watch because Luke in The Last Jedi is such an emotional topic.
There's a lot.
That you have to almost have a conversation about him in this without it being about him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Through
So-
other lenses.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that watch the Dune series and see Paul Atreides as the main character, the hero, the protagonist.
He's not going to be
They're
in the
going to
Messiah.
be in for a world of hurt when it comes to Dune Messiah.
I don't know what happens in Messiah, and I'm specifically trying to avoid that for that reason.
So-
but I even know he's not a good guy.
So, is that a problem?
What do you mean?
Is that bad? That he's not going to be this hero that people think he is?
Well, I think there's two reasons that it is okay. One, towards the latter half of Dune Part 2, they really start showing the cracks in Paul Atreides' character. So, and especially
But he
through-
still saves Arrakis and frees the
He
Fremen
does a
from
good
the control of
thing.
the Emperor, all that stuff.
but he doesn't do it for the right reasons and with the right mindset. And we see that through Chani in a lot of ways.
But we also
and his
see the
actions.
fall of Luke and why he acts the way he does in this movie.
You're
and
right.
and it makes sense.
Okay,
So
right.
why
Well,
is that not
the
okay?
other-
but that would
let
be
him
cool?
finish
point-
the statement, then I want to come back to that, okay?
The other point is, this is based off of an existing story. So you can't be mad when it doesn't pan out the way you want because they're adapting something that's been around for years.
Yes,
Last Jedi
I
was
want to
its own
say
thing.
yes to that, but there's so many adaptations that do things exactly like the book does,
And then twist it. Yeah.
and people get frustrated about
Yeah,
it because they
absolutely.
want to
Well-
change that. People go in wanting things to be the way they want them.
Oh, Christian
And
Harloff, who's blocked us on Twitter. He's blocked us on Twitter for 8 years.
That is
because
a
after
shield of
The Force Awakens, or excuse me, The Last Jedi preview night, the night before we saw it, he went to a showing in Los Angeles, and he came out and was at a post-showing party, live video on Twitter and YouTube and stuff, talking about this was a masterpiece, this was awesome, this was fantastic, it is so unexpected, it is a brilliant story. And then 3 weeks later was on the Last Jedi Sucks bandwagon. And I called him out. I said, that's not what you said when you first watched this. We'll talk about this at the end. And he blocked us for it.
Well,
Hold on. people, he came out this week and said, why don't they just adapt the books? Why don't they just adapt the EU stuff? Why don't they just, that's boring. Who wants to see what they already know is going to happen in the Heir to the Empire series?
Right.
Nobody wants to see that. And the Infinity War was, I will die on this hill. The ending of Infinity War was absolutely boring for anybody that knew the comics because you knew that Thanos was going to have to win.
Yeah.
I sat there and I'm like, I can't wait for Endgame because I think it's going to make this movie better. It did.
That's also an unpopular opinion to not like Infinity War as much as Endgame. A lot of people like Infinity War.
But anybody that knew the Thanos story with Infinity War knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Knew that Thanos had to win. Yeah. There was no doubt in my mind. That's the problem with adapting the books right to this kind of stuff. And that's why what I think your argument is really good. Let me ask. Go ahead.
Going back to the Christian Harloff thing, you called him out for having an undiffering opinion, but we're actively fighting to change people's opinions as well. So what's the difference there? Why is he unable to change his mind?
No, because it became very clear in the way Christian Harloff did it that he was doing it for clicks.
Yeah.
It became clear that he put his finger up to the wind and saw The Last Jedi hate and said, for YouTube purposes, I'm going to be a Last Jedi hater.
Okay.
And that's the same thing. Honestly, that's the same garbage that Star Wars Theory did. He deleted his videos from the first few days of The Last Jedi, which I don't know if he liked it or didn't like it because I can't believe anything the man says. But originally, he posted videos that were very pro The Last Jedi. And then when people he started realizing, wait, I can get a lot of clicks if I say I hate this. He shifted. Same with Geeks and Gamers. He shifted. They all shifted with this. And we'll talk about that at the end. My question is this. When it comes to Luke Skywalker, is there a way that they could have made Luke Skywalker the unbelievable hero from the beginning of the story and made The Last Jedi an interesting movie?
They did. At the end, when he faces the First Order with a laser
using
sword,
the Force in a way that no one has ever used.
He did exactly what the galaxy wanted him to do. Granted, in a slightly different way than everyone was expecting. Right? Nobody expected it to be a Force projection, but anyway. He did what the galaxy wanted. He was that hero, and it saved the day. There you go. There's your Luke. He crawled out of his pit of despair, so to speak, and did what was needed in the time and saved the galaxy. Yes, he sacrificed himself. I think that makes it better, in my opinion, that he was willing to finally put finally lay himself, well, he's laid himself on the line before, but he was willing to sacrifice so much to do that. So he was the hero in the end, in that scene.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have been as good, but also I think it's hard to please a lot of people at this point. You make Luke Skywalker the hero again, you'll get the same complaints that you had from The Force Awakens, that it's too much like A New Hope. You'll get the same complaints that it's just too much like all the other Star Wars we had. What are we doing here? Why are we having to have these? You'll get that. So you change Luke Skywalker, well, you ruined his character. You keep him the same, well, why is he the same? You're not going to please anybody. And the movie would be worse with Luke Skywalker as the hero. Throughout the whole thing, of course, like Sam said, he becomes a hero at the end. He realizes that potential that he's had for decades. But you make him that legend, that hero, the entire movie, it's boring. And that's why Last Jedi is so good, is because it genuinely brings us back to what made A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi such amazingly well-made films. It brought us back to the heart of the characters and the story, and they weren't afraid to have adversity against it. Now, of course, we all know where 1, 2, and 3 is going to go. We know Anakin Skywalker is going to become Darth Vader. So that's okay that happens. But and you can attest to this, and there are other people that can attest to this, when Empire Strikes Back came out, it was not received.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Oh, I went ahead, my bad.
No. Do you feel like this film? And we talked about this on the last episode with the theories a lot, right?
Yeah.
Is this film a complete subverting of everything from The Force Awakens? And how is that different from what happens in The Empire Strikes Back?
It is not subverting. It's a progression. You have to, and I will die on this hill, you have to have stories with change and adversity for them to be captivating. I mean, a lot of these people just watch the movies and don't read the books and the comics. Read a comic. Read an entire run. And you'll see there's so many times when it's just like, man, like, okay, take for instance, read Invincible. There's not much of a time where there's like, he's happy. I don't know if there's
Don't
any.
remind me.
And like I think it's like 20, almost 3,000 pages of the comic. There's really not a time that he's truly happy. So, and that's fine. That's great. That fits the series. There's no problem with that adversity. That story would be boring if he's happy all the time. And now, of course, I want to see Mark Grayson have a good time, but it's better when he's trying to overcome that. That's why heroes are so important for just humanity through stories. It's seeing these people that have so much power get brought down to places that we've been at and still conquer it. That's what makes them so captivating. If you make them win everything, that's the reason that Superman's so much debated about. He's so powerful. Well, he's kind of boring. That was Sam. You were a part of that train.
That's one of the reasons why Superman 2 is considered the best of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies.
2 so good
because he becomes human in that, and you sit there and you weep as he gets the absolute crap beaten out of him, and you're like, that's not what happened.
Right.
With that,
how is that Superman? But that's considered great. You release that now, you'll have problems.
Yeah.
You will. And you release Man of Steel. While it's a great superhero movie in its own right, I don't think it's a really good Superman movie because, let's just be honest, he kind of just goes along throughout it and he has some like adversity and conflict, but there's nothing that really brings him down. He's practically immortal. Like, I don't know if he really takes much damage in it. And that's why the new Superman movie did such a great job with showing that. He was beaten, broken, almost dead, and he still conquered that.
Right.
That's a good story. That's what you need. And if The Last Jedi was just Luke Skywalker being all happy-go-lucky the hero, it's boring.
I feel like I've tweeted this out a few times, but I feel like the expectation of what Luke was doing in Act 2 was that he was just on Act 2 to do an extended Rocky IV training sequence. Like, he's just there getting stronger in the Force so that he can come back and beat Snoke. But like, he got the crap beat out of him. Now he's got to, or you know, he saw his best friend get killed. That's what happens in Rocky, right? Rocky IV. Now he's got to go out and train like crazy so he can beat Drago. So Luke's got to train like crazy so that he can beat Snoke. And that's what he's doing on this. And I think that's all that they wanted from Act 2.
Yeah, but this isn't Luke's story. This isn't Rocky is Rocky in the Rocky movie. This is Luke in the sequel trilogy. And as hard as it is of a pill to swallow.
This is Rocky in Creed.
Exactly.
Yes. And it's a great character. He's amazing in those movies.
Yes. But it's not his movie.
Nobody complained about Rocky wanting to give up to cancer. Nobody complained about that. Because you understood. It made sense for his character and it was that
what happens in that movie? Some young hotshot shows up
and
convinces him to
why
fight.
Why are you doing this?
And guess what he does? He fights the cancer. What does Luke do?
He comes back and he fights.
And you're right. And nobody complains about that.
Nobody complains about it because it makes sense. It's a progression of the character. You don't have headcanon for Rocky.
Because you don't have
You don't have
150 EU novels about Rocky.
Right.
That's the problem.
You don't have theories. You're not waiting for the next Creed movie wondering, oh, this is going to happen. What if this happens? No, you're going to go see boxing. It's a formula.
Right.
It's going to be great.
Right.
You know it's going to be a great movie.
So you let the story be the story.
You let the story be the story.
So
you let
here's
these
a question.
people tell the story that they know how to tell.
Did The Last Jedi completely turn its back on everything that was happening with The Force Awakens?
No.
I don't know how many times we have to say
Okay,
it.
so let me ask it this way then. I've said this for 8.5 years. I'll say it right. And we did a whole episode about this back like episode 8 or 9 of our podcast when you were little kids. Okay. I don't think you even had your driver's license yet.
I don't think so.
Probably not at that point.
If The Empire Strikes Back with Luke kissing Leia at the beginning, we don't know that they're brother and sister the entire movie, but them kissing at the beginning and then her falling in love with Han,
Mm-hmm.
with of course, the I am your father moment at the end, with Obi-Wan Kenobi coming back as a Force ghost. What's the point if he died if he can just come back as a Force ghost? With this coming back as a Force ghost, telling Luke to go to Dagobah to find a great Jedi Master, and it being a little green puppet. If all of that kind of stuff all the Cloud City, Han being frozen in carbonite, the ending of the movie being basically the same as the ending of the Last Jedi, where they're basically like, we got our butts kicked the entire episode,
and then running away,
and we're running away, and we hope we can figure out what to do next. If that movie came out in the social media era of 2018, what is the reaction to The Empire Strikes Back?
It'll be negative.
Yeah, it's nearly the same.
Yeah.
But it's also not an equal comparison, because you're right. There isn't a bunch of extra content for people to base their opinions off. Is it harder
for The Last Jedi? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I do think it is, and I'm not trying to be like to all the haters. No, you got to be nice to it, because it can't stand on its own. You got to take into account all this context that it's brought it within. I'm not saying you have to do that for Last Jedi to stand on its own, but it's not the same if you released Empire Strikes Back today. But I do think there would be criticisms to those things if it were put in a similar circumstance where people do theorize and stuff. I mean, this is Star Wars. There had been one movie before this, and that's it. Were there any books that came out in between?
Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Okay.
Which was not a good book.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wasn't that what originally episode 5
was originally what they were going to do as the sequel until Star Wars actually became a hit. And then they're like, oh, wait, let's just release that as a book.
And we'll do something
And then we'll
else.
come up with something new.
Mm. So I do think that there's things to take into account, but it is very subversive, or there's a lot of twists and changes and things that you wouldn't expect, especially coming out of A New Hope.
Yeah.
So I can see how there would be some pushback towards that movie if it came out today.
There's a lot of subplots in The Last Jedi. Canto Bight, Poe and Holdo.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably the two big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that. Those are big criticisms from people who say, I like The Last Jedi. Here's the most common reaction from people say that they like The Last Jedi on social media. I really don't think The Last Jedi is that bad. I really kind of like The Last Jedi, but, and they either bring up Holdo and Poe, and specifically the Holdo maneuver.
I still don't understand that.
Talk about that. Or they think Canto Bight and everything happening with Finn and Rose is a complete waste of time. And there's no purpose in the entire story. Holdo maneuver. They feel like it breaks physics. Holdo and Poe. Holdo's a jerk. Poe has every right to be questioning her because she's not telling them what's going on, and Poe deserves to know. That's basically the argument with it. Help me understand that.
Well, when I watched The Last Jedi and the Holdo maneuver happened, since I wasn't so engrossed in all of the extra Star Wars stuff and the extended universe and all the books and stuff, I didn't know that was supposed to not follow Star Wars physics, because that's also a dumb argument in and of itself. It's Star Wars. There's laser swords and laser guns and the Force.
And the Force.
Like, just pump the brakes here a little bit. I thought it was cool. I thought it was fun. I don't understand the criticisms for the Holdo maneuver. And as for
the big criticisms are, well, why didn't she just, if that's the case, if they could do that, why aren't they just sending out ships to go like hyperspace through the enemy fleets? Or why can't they just send it through a planet to destroy the bad guys? You know, and that kind of, I mean, this is literally the arguments that are out there.
You want to have a bunch of like suicide runs?
Well, they could just program a droid to take a destroyer, a frigate or something, and send it into hyperspace and destroy all the bad guys.
I guess it's just going to get real expensive after a while to keep throwing ships at people, but I guess, and I'm sure it probably wasn't easy to make that happen. Like,
yeah, it comes back to Harrison Ford's response to all of this kind of stuff. It's a made up story in space with a bunch of wizards.
Right. I mean, like if you're a Jedi and you can use the Force, why not just like squeeze your opponent's heart and like squish it or something?
Turn off their lightsaber.
Crush their lungs. I don't know. I'm sure there's some outside of the movie explanation as to why they can't do that. I'm sure there's an out of movie explanation as to why you can do the Holdo maneuver. But it's like, maybe let's just let what happened
be a story.
Happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the whole Poe supposed to, Poe shouldn't have listened to Holdo and like all that criticism. Holdo was clearly trusted by Leia. Leia is Poe's superior.
Poe was demoted because he didn't follow the orders.
So why would she divulge
Why would she talk to that guy? Like, he obviously isn't trusted. He's a hothead. He's not in a good space right now. Why trust him?
Yes, I'll give you all the information for my plan.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't know you're Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
You're Poe Dameron.
Never mind.
Let me tell you everything then.
Never mind.
You're the Poe Dameron.
I forgot you're one of the main characters in this new movie series.
Right. So we
got to tell you everything.
All the information.
I can understand how her characterization could off-put some people and the way she acts and stuff. I get that, and I think it could upset people because maybe they see themselves in Poe and they're having the exact same reaction that Poe's having. Let's just be honest. If we were in Poe's situation, I'd probably be pissed too.
Absolutely.
But when you take a step back and you look at everything that's led up to this point and all the stuff around it, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. What about Canto Bight, Nate? It's a wasted story. There's no purpose for it.
Okay. I get so pressed when people say that character development is a wasted story. Mm-hmm. Now, something I love is slow burn movies, slow burn TV shows. A lot of that people can consider as filler, wasted episodes or wasted moments for character development and all that stuff. And I like it because I'm here to watch these characters go through a story. If I only care about the destination and what they do to get to that destination, then I don't care about the story. I don't care about the characters. I care about a quick hit of stimulation for my brain, which is frustrating to me. Like, take The Bear, for example. There is an entire episode. Which I don't know which episode you're thinking of.
Go for it.
I'm thinking of the episode that has barely any dialogue and just music following Carmi's journey.
Yeah.
Which takes place in the middle of like season 3.
Which helps you understand Carmi throughout the entire series.
But it takes place, I think, in the middle of season 3, if I'm not mistaken. In the middle of them trying to figure out if this restaurant's going to work and all that stuff. And we just get hit with no dialogue, music, repeating, and seeing
him traveling the world and working
and learning how to be a chef. It's one of the best episodes of the series. That's not wasted. And then you take Richie's episode, for example. You take Forks. That has nothing to do with the restaurant. We see Carmi for one scene when he's on the phone with Richie. And the rest of it's just Richie in the restaurant.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with the bear? What's that got to do with the restaurant? Yeah.
But it's considered.
But it helps create the character. I know you don't know the show.
Not a clue.
But the point he's making is Richie's character goes through that arc to make him a better character for the bear when he goes back to the restaurant. So he goes back to the restaurant.
When Finn and Rose come back from Canto Bight,
Finn should be a better character.
Right.
And he is. And he's more devoted to the cause. He made his decision. We talked about a while
A
ago.
couple episodes
He was
ago, yeah.
struggling to pick sides. After Canto Bight, he found a way to pick a side. And Rose found a way to have more of a mission and a purpose within the Resistance than she originally
Well, I don't think
felt
Rose
like
is
she had.
supposed to be having a big character arc.
No, but she still does.
Yeah.
That's Rian Johnson being Rian Johnson. He still finds a way for her to have a good role in it. And we see Finn make a mistake, trying to sacrifice himself, and we see Rose finalizing that character arc that we have set up in Canto Bight. Canto Bight is also... Canto Bight's fun.
That's what goes back to the last episode when you were talking about the practical effects and everything, or a couple episodes ago.
It's fun. It's not a problem. It really isn't. You get 30, 35 minutes of just a lot of fun seeing a cool casino planet, chases with horse things and ships through cities and all that stuff. That's okay.
Almost the first 30 minutes of the entire Star Wars saga is a big yawner.
Yeah, it's why I hated watching
original Star Wars, the original A New Hope, when they from the moment that C-3PO and R2-D2 land on Tatooine for the next 15-20 minutes, it is a yawner.
It's really slow.
It is slow.
And you're just like,
I love it.
Yeah, we love it because of what story,
because it's world building. But it has it could have happened in 5 minutes.
Yeah. But it's not a problem.
That's the point. Star Wars is never supposed to be just a complete shot of adrenaline and everything. It's not supposed to be that way. It wasn't ever. And that Canto Bight sequence gives you an understanding of the galaxy that you didn't have before. That understanding is when you are looking through Finn's eyes to see, oh, wait, I'm going to this planet. Rose is telling me these are the worst people ever. This is a horrible place. And you land and it's a beautiful, and he's like, I love this place. It's beautiful. It's great. Look at how everybody's dressing. It's Vegas.
Yeah.
Right. And then he learns from DJ, wait, both sides are playing this conflict. Right. And then DJ's saying don't choose a side, and Rose is like, you have to choose the right, choose good. That's what's going on with Finn in this story. What about the humor? I mean, the movie opens, it's Poe with the your mom jokes and the general hugs and all of this. A lot of people say that the humor in The Last Jedi is just really off-putting and out of character for Star Wars.
So when we watched this, when it came out, we loved it. We thought it was funny. Guess how old we were, too, when it happened?
We were kids.
16 to 12.
What is Star Wars aimed at?
Right.
And also, the prequels has a lot of really off-putting humor.
Bad humor. That wasn't even as funny as this one.
No. And... we've had the revisionist history of Jar Jar's funny. We're good with Jar Jar now. We're okay with
people
Jar Jar.
hated Jar Jar. People hated Jar Jar. People hated C-3PO.
Yes.
People hated 3PO?
People hated 3PO.
In the original trilogy?
Yep.
You hear George Lucas talk about that, and he said they were absolutely blasting C-3PO. And when Jar Jar got the same reaction, George Lucas sat down with Ahmad Best and said, listen, they said the same thing about C-3PO. They said the same thing about Anthony Daniels with it. Don't worry. Someday they're going to love you.
Oh, and they do now.
And they do. We were at Star Wars Celebration 2019 when he got the biggest innovation I've ever seen at a celebration.
That was cool. That was really cool.
This is Star Wars. We're going to have cheesy humor. That's okay. It's what we're at. And the humor, it's going back to just remember how to have fun. You have to. Life is miserable if you don't remember how to have fun.
I loved the your mother joke in that movie.
It was so funny.
It was great.
It's really good because it
would be
a dark movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, it would be a really depressing movie without that.
Well, there's lots of those types of movies.
I mean, so would Empire if you didn't have the goofy Yoda moments, or why is the
C-3PO in
radio
Cloud City.
on
Yeah.
Chewie's back.
Why is the Grand Master Jedi
Who's-
being a funny little old man beating R2-D2 with a stick?
Which also, can we talk about how they both kind of agreed to play the bit? Because R2 knows who Yoda is at this point. And he's just playing along to screw with Luke at this point.
R2
No,
is
but
so
that's
funny.
great.
That's such a bad, that's bad
That's
writing.
bad writing.
That's bad writing.
That's bad writing. George Lucas should have known that.
Yeah. People.
How about what you're able to do is you're just able to kind of reconcile it in your brain that, yeah, R2 is just playing a joke with Luke.
Right.
Why can't you do that with the rest of them?
Right. Yeah. There's so many movies like that where people nitpick and it's just like,
I think part of the reason for this argument is the larger atmosphere in movies around this time, and it's become more of a problem recently, and it's the Marvel humor phenomenon. And I understand the argument to an extent. And Marvel humor, and I was talking with Christopher at breakfast on Sunday. It was really put out by like Joss Whedon, which we have our opinions of. So it should tell you. But it's
Nathan's reaction is so
this
visceral.
humor where you're like undercutting serious moments, and the whole he's right behind me, isn't he? That kind of like just campy, like not even campy. It's just not clever humor. It's not good. I don't think there's really anything like that in The Last Jedi that I can recall. There's no like, oh, here's a serious moment. We got to undercut.
Well, I would say
We
that
gotta have
even,
some-
like
some-
when you talk about that, I'm thinking about in The Force Awakens when Finn finally sits at the Dejaric table in the Falcon,
Mhm.
and they're going through stuff. He's looking for something, and he pulls up the
game.
he pulls up the training.
Oh no,
droid,
he's trying to put the bandage on Chewie.
Oh yeah, and he pulls it up, and he's like,
What is it?
this kind of thing, and he throws it. I'm like, that feels almost more cheesy than stuff
Right.
that happened at the beginning of the last one.
There may be other things, but the most similar example of that kind of humor that I could think of is the interrogation at the beginning, towards the beginning of Force Awakens, when Kylo goes to Poe and he's like, "So who's talks first? You talk
Oh yeah,
first,
yeah,
I talk
yeah,
first."
yeah.
I mean, it is kind of trying to undercut a serious
No, I thought
moment.
that was a great moment.
But
that moment is a
fits his
character moment.
that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
It gives you a clue as to the insight of how Poe thinks, and
Which
how
is
he
the
acts.
exact same thing that's happened. The reason the humor is the way that it is, the your mom jokes, the calling for general hugs, I'm waiting, is he not there? All that stuff is he's literally stalling for time.
Right.
That's the
And it's
whole,
Poe
there is
being
a
Poe.
It's Poe acting like Poe, and he's doing it with intention. It's not being funny to be funny. He's being funny to stall, to give them the time that they need for everything to charge the way that it needs to charge, so he can do what he needs to do with this. That's the purpose of that humor with it. So there's a purpose behind it. I talked about it a lot when we talked about like Star Wars Theory and even Christian Harloff to an extent.
and Grace Randolph.
And with Grace Randolph's the same way. Geeks and Gamers,
Mm,
and there's others,
mm,
but those are the ones that
mm.
really piss me off with it.
Good.
Do you think that most of the backlash against the Last Jedi was truly just manufactured?
What do you mean by manufactured?
People. Oh,
Mm.
yep. This is clicks. We can get clicks going. We can stir up emotion. We can get people that just listen to what we have to say. In the last episode, we talked about how we fell into some of that in a non-aggressive way with Mike Zero, right? We think Mike Zero's legit when we first started doing the YouTube version of the show back before we did the podcast. And we thought he was legit. So we took what he said seriously. And we kind of went down that path for a little while. When you have people that seem to be respectable, that have legitimate platforms, that then start telling you that this movie sucks, and here's why. Do you think that there is an element of people that just fall into, I guess it sucks?
Yeah. It's a phenomenon I've noticed more and more with recent movies.
I'll use this as an example. If I'm a CNN watcher, if I'm an MSNBC watcher, the Democrats do no wrong and the Republicans can do no right. If I'm a Fox News watcher, the Republicans can do no wrong. Donald Trump is the second coming of Jesus Christ, and everything on the liberal side is wrong. And you hear their arguments and you stay with their arguments.
Absolutely.
And you can argue against that with The Last Jedi, but do you think that is a big part of the problem with this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I think that it's a problem with a lot of movies, and it goes both ways. I think some movies end up being praised more because that's for whatever reason what social media decided was going to be the opinion on the movie, and then that takes hold. Now, I'm going to use these as an example because I can't think of a better one off the top of my head, but recent movies like, if you've heard of them, The Backrooms or Obsession.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Everybody's
small horror movies that should not have done well as they did. Absolutely blew it out of the park. Did they deserve it? Yes, they were great movies. But I think a large part of that was everyone on social media agreed that they were good and pushed that out like crazy.
Obsession was unprecedented.
It was
with the reaction that
it was, and so
But isn't that normal? Isn't that what you want? You want a movie to be praised and people watching
absolutely.
it.
But what I'm saying is, it's a snowball effect, and it can go in either direction.
Yeah, 100%.
If social media decides this movie's good, everyone's going to keep recycling that because that's the trend.
Or if you're a Ben Shapiro guy, and you hear Ben Shapiro's position on Star Wars, on The Last Jedi, on The Acolyte, on The Rings of Power, then you watch him and you decide that's the only right opinion.
Yeah, we need to
have this for Rings of Power.
Yeah, we need to talk about how Rings of Power is actually amazing, because it really is. People just watch it. And if it doesn't fit the books perfectly, so
just watch the show.
Just watch. Enjoy the story that they're telling.
But do you understand where I'm coming from on that?
Oh, I get it.
Because we know everybody that follows us consistently knows we come from a very conservative perspective. We come from a very Christian background. And most of the people in our sphere talk about The Last Jedi as being woke, talk about the rise of they talk about The Last Jedi as being deconstruction, which then they apply that towards everything bad in the world. Everything, faith is being deconstructed. All of our heroes are being deconstructed, being broken down and not good. Like, you take George Washington and he's actually not a good guy. You take Thomas Jefferson and he's not a good guy. That's deconstruction, is with that. So you did the same thing with Luke Skywalker. You do the same thing with Rings of Power. You do the same things with all of this stuff. That's where the world is. And so my point is, isn't it more of a testament to someone that's able to, I'm going to say it differently. As conservative evangelical Christians, which is what we are, who love Disney Star Wars, have criticisms with some things within Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
But overall,
enjoy it.
Love Disney Star Wars. Love the Rings of Power. Love a lot of things love Disclosure Day. Love a lot of things.
Y'all liked
Disclosure Day. But you see what I'm saying? Shouldn't that cause people that maybe just hear the same thing in their echo chamber all the time to stop and say, why do they like this? When everybody in our echo chamber is saying they shouldn't. Shouldn't that cause people to stop and say maybe they should like it?
Should.
It's like that video you showed us about sinners, the guy in church or whatever.
Oh, shame on you.
Yeah, this pastor was like, "Who here watched Sinners?" And this guy raises his hand. And the pastor's like, "Shame on you!" And he just kind of sits down. He's like, "Oh." It's played as humorous, but it goes to this example.
Yeah,
it's like, why? Okay, why are you shaming this guy for watching this movie? Did you watch the movie? Do you know what's in the movie?
Have you sat down and had a conversation with him over a cup of coffee and be like, I'm really curious. You're an evangelical, conservative Christian Southern Baptist, and you think that the Sinners movie is one of the best movies that's ever been released.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd love to understand. Not, why do you think that's a good movie? More of, I'm really curious.
Because watch it through our
No.
perspective.
Why? I watched it, even if I disagree. Why do you like it? I'm trying to understand.
Right.
Because I trust you as a person.
Right.
Why do
you can't do that anymore.
Why do you enjoy this? I'd love to hear your perspective. Or why do you love the movie Heretic? Or why do you love the movie Conclave as a conservative Christian? Those are movies that we should not love.
What?
The evangelical Christian world has told us we are probably on the doorstep of hell because we like Heretic and we like Conclave.
Yeah, or we're woke liberals because of it.
But we like it.
They were all good.
Do you see? So maybe if you like Heretic and you like Conclave and you like Sinners, but you don't like The Last Jedi,
give it a try.
Maybe you should try to understand why someone that shouldn't like those other movies like you do, right? Likes The Last Jedi. Maybe you should try to understand why they like it, not tell them they're wrong because they do.
And here's something I would say to tack on to the end of that. You can try to understand why somebody may like something. That doesn't necessarily mean
you have to like
have to like it.
I hate Toy Story 4.
Oh, it was so bad.
I don't care if you like Toy Story 4.
Good. No, not even
I
close.
would rather my mindset
and if you tell me why, I'll listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I get argumentative sometimes, and I need to be better about that. But I'll try to listen too. I'm being transparent here.
I thought Toy Story 5 was fine.
I had a better version. No,
your version is a whole lot better than everybody else's version, than the real version of it. But anyway, we'll end there.